Hi, this is Jeff Curto, and welcome to episode number 66 of Camera Position, a podcast about the creative side of photography. The bells that you're hearing are from the tiny mountain village of Scanno. Scanno, a town high in the mountains of the Abruzzo region of Italy, and I had gone there on this summer's sojourn to make photographs in Italy, quite specifically because I knew it was a place that Henri Cartier-Bresson, the great photographer, had spent time and made photographs. And I was really interested in just seeing the town and seeing what it was like and wandering around. And it was sort of a place that was an in-transit place for me. I was sort of passing through on my way to a couple of other places and wanted to just spend a day and a half or so in the town. And it was a beautiful town, remarkable in many different ways. The town, as many towns in Italy do, this town has a beautiful sense of its own history and its own heritage, and seems to carry that on throughout the generations from a long, long time ago. But as I wandered around town, I was really aware of the fact that this was a town where Henri Cartier-Bresson had made photographs, and I hadn't really spent a whole lot of time researching it prior to going. In fact, Scanno was sort of a last-minute addition to my itinerary, and there I was, wandering around. The church bells were ringing, and I happened upon this astonishing thing. Certainly, because I've been teaching photography for so long, and because this particular photograph by Cartier-Bresson is such a masterpiece, I was aware of the picture, though I don't know that I was necessarily aware that this particular photograph had been made in Scanno. And so I was walking around, and all of a sudden I see this combination of angles of intersecting streets and intersecting railings, and I realized, like something hit me over the head, that here I was standing in pretty much the same place that Cartier-Bresson had made this photograph. And so I made this photograph thinking that, wow, here I am. And then I started exploring around a little bit and wandering about, and realizing that Cartier-Bresson had been up quite a bit higher to make his photograph. And so I climbed up these stairs and I made this photograph, which to my mind was sort of this homage to the master, this photograph that I was doing to try and replicate my memory of what this great Cartier-Bresson photograph had been. And it wasn't until I returned back to where it was that I was staying and looked at my laptop, where I have my entire history of photography slide library, and realized that I'd missed the mark. I was close, but I had included a great deal more sky, and I had excluded this remarkable railing that Bresson had put into the bottom right part of the photograph. And I was really struck by the fact that I was not only aware that I was in the right place, but the fact that I couldn't exactly replicate this picture that I'd looked at thousands of times, replicate it from memory. I was also intrigued while in Scanno at the way the people of Scanno understand their photographic heritage, and understand that not only Cartier-Bresson, but the great Italian photographer Mario Giacomelli had captured Scanno's essence in these marvelous black and white photographs. And the two of them had really celebrated this unusual and interesting mountain village. But for me, the highlight of this particular time in this town was not only making my own photographs and seeing what I could see both in black and white and in color, but also to really just have this axe handle over the head of being struck by an understanding that I was standing in the same place that the master Cartier-Bresson had stood, and understanding that my memory of his great photograph did not measure up to the great photograph itself. So here it is, photography, a memory device, a device that helps us see, it helps us remember the way we were, it helps us remember where we've been, and it extends and enhances our memory, and that's certainly one of the things that historically photography has always done. And regardless of how carefully and how cleverly we try to position ourselves into the sense of what's gone before us and how we have seen photography and what photographs we've tried to ingest into our minds and into our memory is an imperfect thing. And regardless of how carefully we try to extend our own memory through photographs, the photograph always will come back and show us something new, show us something different. And one of the things that I was pleased by in my photograph was that there was this tiny, not nearly as masterful and not nearly as interesting as the Cartier-Bresson moment, but there was this tiny decisive moment in the photograph that I made of this young, attractive woman walking up the street and a guy kind of shooting her a sidelong glance from the side. So here was this sense that I was not only standing in the place, but I also had just a tiny bit of that sense of decisive moment, a tiny bit of that sense that the moment of the photograph and the position of the camera and the view and the field of view of the camera all came together, even if just in a sort of slight way. So uh, that whole idea of memory, of preparation, of understanding where you are in a place and understanding what that place is like and how you can place yourself into a position of being aware of your surroundings and being aware of where you are and what you're looking at and how you're seeing it. Um, Even if you don't get it right, there is something quite remarkable about being able to place yourself into that situation. So, a lot of times people ask me, why do you keep going back to Italy? What is it about Italy that fascinates you? And it is, in fact, these sort of serendipitous moments that continue to attract me and bring me back and make me continue to be interested in various types and ideas in photography, types of photography, ideas about the medium. And there we are. So I have a lot more photographs from my summer sojourn to Italy, and I'll be sharing those with you over the coming months. And until then, I invite you to come back and join me on the next episode of Camera Position, a podcast about the creative side of photography. Camera Position is a proud member of the Photocast Network, your photo resource in the potosphere. photocastnetwork.com